your girl Esther L with SWOOCH TV. We're going in right now live here in Tracy, California at the mayor's office here at the City Hall. It's going down. It's... Hi Swooshers, this is your host Esther L, SWOOCH TV, where we encourage you to get involved, be active, and be empowered in their community. And today we are highlighting the man of the hour, the mayor of Tracy, Robert Rickman. How are you?
Good.
Thank you so much.
Well, Esther, thank you very much. It's an honor and privilege to be here today.
It's an honor for us to have you with us. So basically, like I said, SWOOCH, we encourage you to get involved, be active, and be empowered. And the name SWOOCH, SWOOCH, it stands for Serving with Other Organizations to Change Humanity. And you are obviously one of those people that's doing that.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
So that's why we decided to, to give you that moment, to give you that highlights, because as we were talking before, there's so much negativity that's going on in this world. There's so much going on, and I think people forget, they forget to see the good. They forget to see people that are actually impacting and trying to change people's lives, positively. And like I said, you're representing that. You're one of those leaders that's representing that. So I'm like, why not have you?
Well, thank you very much, and thank you for what you do, getting out there and showing the positive side of things, and also empowering our youth, which I know I've tried to continue to do.
Yes.
And give them a voice. So thank you very much.
For sure. Okay, so to get started, so outside of politics, who is Robert Rickman?
Well, hey, that's a regular guy just like anybody else. I was born and raised here in Tracy. I have two young daughters who are a freshman and sophomore this year at Tracy High.
Awesome.
Married to my beautiful wife and for 17 years.
Wow.
And besides being the mayor, I also work in law enforcement. So it keeps me busy.
Yeah, for sure. I'm sure. I read also too that you're from Portugal. Your family.
Yes.
From Portugal.
My mom's side of the family came from Teseda in the Azores.
Right.
And probably in the late 1800s or
Yeah.
so. And we had a dairy when we were growing up in Banta. My mom's from Banta.
Awesome.
And a lot of traditions here in Tracy for the Portuguese culture.
Yeah.
In fact, my mom and my grandma were both queens in the Portuguese festa that we have here in town. And my youngest daughter was a side maid a few years ago. So carrying on that tradition is very nice. It's one of the great things about our town.
Being cultured, because I mentioned the culture thing because I'm Haitian, just so you know, so so I mean, and that's the beautiful thing I love about California. It's like a big melting pot. So coming here, it was like a culture shock. Just people from everywhere. And then when I found out, you're from your family is like Portuguese, it's like, yay.
Yeah, that's what gives us, one of our strengths is our diversity.
For sure.
And you learn so much from everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a great thing.
It's a beautiful thing, yeah. Awesome. So you're the mayor, obviously, but I had read also too that which we talked about earlier too before we started the show. You were in college, you went to Delta and Sac State, and you majored in criminal justice. So what made you're in politics now, and you're working with the law enforcement. So what made you get into politics?
Well, I never had a plan to get into politics.
Yeah.
It's not something that, I knew I was going to do since high school.
Right.
But, raising a family, being involved in your community, and, I want to change. And I saw some things that, I didn't agree with. I know when I ran for office in 2010, we had we were beginning in the middle of a gang issue. And I wanted more activities for our kids and families. And I remember going to the council meeting, and first time ever, regular citizen going up there and giving my concerns, and I could tell that they
Didn't really
pay attention.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you, and move on. And after that experience, I thought to myself, or I said to myself, hey, if you want change, you're going to have to go out there and make it. So that's exactly what I did.
So you're just inspired just by that one door.
Right. Hey, we were talking about, born and raised here in Tracy, and I love my town, and I want to see Tracy the best city it can be.
Right.
And not just best here in San Joaquin County, but the best city in the region, best city in the state of California.
Right.
So it's something that we can leave to our
Right.
younger generations.
Awesome. And that's inspiring too, just you doing something like that, being bold enough to speak up at a council meeting, where voices are made to be heard.
Absolutely.
And, just, you didn't let that knock you down. You didn't let that discourage you.
No, it actually gave me more drive.
Right.
Give me that passion and knowing that, if you want to get something done, get in there and get your hands dirty and do it.
Get active.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just like what we do with SWOOCH. Is we tell our SWOOSHers, get involved, get active, and be empowered.
Mm-hmm.
So we applaud you for that.
Oh,
And that's why you're here right now. That's why you're in the position that you're now.
Thank you. I was very fortunate.
Yeah, so that's awesome. So at what point of your life did you decide that you want to run for mayor?
I've always been interested in, history and education and, love for my town, but it wasn't until, I had a family of my own and I observed things here in the city that, like I told you, that I didn't agree with. And one thing that drove me crazy is that you hear politicians every 2 years or every 4 years get up and tell you what we're going to do.
Right.
And then they get in the elected office and they don't do it.
Right.
One of the things that I wanted to see is more activities for our youth and more activities for our family.
Right.
And that was one of the major platforms I ran on, and things I continue to do.
Right.
In fact, we talked about it last council meeting. We just approved the aquatic center.
Awesome. Yeah.
And we're going to be moving forward on.
Nice.
And a few years before that, I believe it was last year, a legacy field or a sports field.
Right.
Two things that have been very dear to me and something that I push very hard for.
Right.
Yeah.
And you have kids of your own, so
absolutely.
you're looking out for that as well. So.
No, absolutely. And being born and raised here in Tracy, and I hear the same things that I was saying when I was a kid. There's nothing to do here in town.
Yeah.
And we've changed that, and we're continuing to change, continue to push, and continue to bring in more recreational, educational activities for our youth and for our families.
For sure. Awesome. So speaking of families, and you being a family man, how do you balance that? Like your personal life, your family, like with your career, like how do you do that?
It can be tricky at times.
Yeah.
And first of all, I have a very caring and understanding family, and I think that you have to.
Mm-hmm.
And both my wife and my girls, my daughters, understand that, and they participate in the politics side of it. Because without their support, realistically, I wouldn't be able to do this, because family's always
Right.
got to take care of your family.
Right.
But a lot of times, my days off and my meeting times, I just maneuver around as best as I can.
Yeah.
And, I enjoy it. And I enjoy having my, daughters being young and in sports, because it gets me out there in the community so I can see exactly what's going on.
Exactly.
Being in law enforcement,
Yeah.
I know exactly what's going on in our town because I'm out there.
Right.
And it's something very positive. But yeah, it's understanding and commitment, and you make a commitment to go with it, and just juggling them
Right.
as best as you can.
Right. Man, you should really get if not already, like another family man, mayor / you need that hero award, because I can't imagine you having that, that much of responsibility, to deal with.
Well, thank you. But it's a good responsibility, and it's a responsibility that I love to have. And like I said, my goal is to leave Tracy better than what I found it, for not just my family and my kids, but everyone, the youth and family, next generation. Awesome. And let them take over and push it through.
Right. Awesome. That's so great. And you were talking about the recreational projects with the community. So that's still in works right now, right? Like the renovating of the aquatic center and the, I believe the park fields and the sports fields, that's still in.
Oh, yeah,
right
that's
now?
still going forward. You know, last council meeting, we just approved the type of aquatic park
Right.
that we want, and we're moving forward with that.
Mhm.
And that's something the community has been waiting for
Yeah.
over 10 years. And there comes a time that, you know, you can't just talk. You have to move forward and take
Exactly.
action
Yeah.
and drive it home.
Want it, yeah.
And so that's coming up. We're hoping next year to have a groundbreaking, put some shovels in the ground. Legacy Fields, we started building, we put fields in last year, and that's been something I've been very passionate about. And right now we have 6 soccer fields built. We're building 2 more, that gives a total of 8. And we have 9 baseball fields. And they're coming back to council, hopefully in October, to do a little bit more. And I can't tell you the company that we've been talking to, but
Right.
myself and some of our city manager economic development team went to a different state and spoke to a resort, a recreational kind of resort, and we're hoping to bring those folks over here at Tracy.
Nice.
But, you know, even like when we talk about Legacy Fields, it's something that was planned for Tracy. You know, we've been talking about for over 20 years.
Right, right.
And, you know, like I said, you know, we have to take care of our youth and, you know, give them the opportunities, recreational activities that they deserve. So there comes a time that, you know, talk is done, you put your action down, you build it. And it's been, Legacy Fields has been a great success. It's been, you know, not just for our youth playing sports, but for our economic development too.
Right, right. Is there something that the youth been asking for too, like the more of the recreation?
Oh, yes, yes. And, you know, and that's something that's been going on for a long time. As Tracy expanded, our fields and our parks didn't expand
Yeah.
as fast. So
Right.
we became a town of 90,000 people
Right.
without the proper recreational activities.
Right.
And that's why it was so important to me. And there's no reason why our youth should have to go to another town, play a
Right,
sport, or
yeah.
do a recreational activity that should be here in Tracy.
Right.
And that's something that I've been very passionate about, and something that we're taking care of, you know, with the fields. And in fact, we're talking to Cal North right now, the soccer organization, to build additional fields.
Right,
And my goal is to have Tracy as a regional sports draw.
right.
And- But also, you know, we're in talk with the county, and the county in the talks of building a 100-acre park here in Tracy. And that's something, you know, for families also. You know, a huge 100-acre park, you can have trails and different type of activities, something that we still have to look at.
Right,
But it's something else coming down the pipe too, so
Right.
that's nice.
right. So, and we're talking about sports, like, so do you play any? I mean, are we gonna see the mayor on the field?
Yeah, I used to, you know, and last thing, when I was in college, when I was at Delta,
Yeah,
we were
yeah.
talking about, because you're going to Delta.
Right.
Now I used to do fencing, and my daughter was taking fencing, and took it maybe for an hour, and I ended up tearing my hamstring.
Oh, no.
I guess there comes a time,
Oh.
you know, you can't do it. You're not 21 anymore. But no, I try to stay as active as I can.
Yeah, that's good, that's good. And I see you were mentioning the shovels, so I
Right.
had noticed the shovels here. Is that like part of the project, or is that like?
No, absolutely. When we break ground and you know, they have some ceremonial shovels. If you look, you have FedEx groundbreaking ceremonies,
Nice.
Ellis Project, Tracy Hills, and Arbor Avenue groundbreaking. So we have DCT. So we have a bunch of different shovels and what that means is more business to Tracy, more jobs to
Right.
Tracy, more income to Tracy, more opportunities for Tracy.
Right, right, right. That sounds so awesome. So like after the renovation, and all that, do you guys have any youth-based programming like after in plans or?
Oh yes, and you know, we're going to keep pushing forward, and I think we're very fortunate that we have a majority of council that recognizes that our youth are important. You know, we expanded the hours for Joe Wilson Pool, for example. You know, aquatic center that'll help more recreational activities. But if you look at our recreation and arts league, our arts programs here in Tracy, and it's ever expanding. I know for me, I'm always going out there looking for somebody to bring to Tracy. And for example, when we talked about fencing and something unique, something unique that schools don't have, and it's
Right.
an opportunity for exercise education, but even for scholarships. So I went down to Stockton by myself and talked to them. I brought them here to Tracy. So no, that program is ever expanding. The police department is in the process of having a police activities league, and they're working that out now. We have explorer programs in the police and fire department. And one thing that I try to do a lot of, and you might be interested too since you're in college,
Yeah.
but our internships.
Okay.
Are getting our youth involved in Tracy,
Yes.
in our government, and not just for the elected officials, but public works, community development,
Right.
parks and recreation, our attorney's office, our city manager's office, and I try to get as many interns as I can here in the city.
I had noticed one of the interns
Right.
in here, and so.
And a lot of it for me is about pride.
Right.
Pride in your city, and I love this town, and I do have a lot of pride, and how to build that pride is bring people in and see what they they can do,
Right.
and it's a win-win situation.
Yeah.
And I know one thing that I try to do a lot more of now that when I became mayor is recognize our youth.
Mm-hmm.
And what I have done is, Brian, if they have some kind of outstanding achievement, say, I'm trying to think of the last one that we did was some boys and girls that went overseas and won the gold medal in basketball.
Wow.
And so brought them before council and recognized them with a certificate.
Awesome.
So I try to bring as many youth as I can to, and before the council and before the public on TV,
Right.
so people can see exactly. And we have some great kids here in town, and we have some people with some hard drive, and they're
Right.
doing great things, and not just they're doing great things for themselves, but in turn, great people know they're from Tracy, the great
Yeah.
thing for our
Right.
city. So we gotta recognize that and install that pride in our residents.
That's so awesome, because that's what we basically try to encourage too. Does it have to be big, like you said, the intern thing? That's part of getting active, getting involved in
Absolutely.
the community. So that's definitely honorable.
No, thank you.
Of to bit.
And I want you guys to, when you guys are done with college, I want you to come back here,
For
live in
sure.
Tracy, have a family, and have a job here.
Hey, I mean, as I'm open.
There we go. Hey, we want to keep you here.
I'll get a job. Awesome. So, speaking of the youth, like what changes? Because like we said, we like to encourage you to be heard and get recognized, like you said. So, what changes would you like to see from the youth?
I mean, I would like to see them get more involved,
Mhm.
that you do have a voice, and that you are our next generation of leaders, or if you're not leaders now, and your voice should be heard, and they can be heard. And one way of doing that, of course, being active in the community, but even coming to a council meeting. And there has been,
Right.
several youth that have come to council and have some concerns, or inform the council what they would like to see in Tracy. And we take that to heart,
Mhm.
and we push forward with that. I talk at a lot of schools, and I'm one of the advisors, for example, the Bulldog and Jaguar Project, which is anti-bullying, and seeing the drive of those kids and what they're doing for our community is awe-inspiring, and they're making their voices heard throughout the community. In fact, they've been up to Sacramento at the Capitol and got the attention of our
Nice.
our assembly persons and our senators up there. So, one voice can make a difference.
Right.
Don't let anybody ever tell you that it doesn't.
Right. And you live up to that. You're going back to your story. Then they said no, but you're still, look at you now. Like, look where you're at. So,
If you want to get something done, make the world a better place. You have to get involved
right.
and use that voice. And again, it doesn't matter how old you are.
Exactly. Doesn't matter what it is.
No.
How small, how big, just gotta get in there.
No, absolutely. Because you know what? If you're thinking about it, somebody else is probably
Someone
thinking
else.
about it too.
And don't have enough heart or courage to step up and say anything.
Right, and you know, and you're absolutely right. And don't get me wrong, it's a scary thing to do.
It is. It can be.
You know, but you know, once you overcome that, you know, those butterflies in your stomach,
Yeah.
and you get out there and you see what you can do, and see what you can do with, you know, helping others. It's very self-rewarding.
Right, right. And I'm gonna be honest, I even just coming here today, you know, it gave me butterflies. Like I was talking to my cameraman, like my team and everything, and I was like, oh God, I'm kind of nervous about this. But they're like, you've done this before. Like and this is something that you love to do. Like, don't look at it as like, you know, a major task. You know, you're connecting with people. It's about getting involved, like you said, and just letting your voice be heard. And
Absolutely.
I had to remember that. I had to remember, like, you know, you're right. Like, I do want my voice to be heard. And if not just for me, but for others. And I want to hear from you, too. Like, I want to know, like, how did you get here? Like, I want to know what inspired you, like, so I can get active and others, you know, so they can get that feel of know what to do and just get out there.
No, absolutely. And you know, the butterflies are, you know, a good thing. And hey, I still get nervous. You know, before I walk out a large crowd, and I still get the butterflies.
Right. It's normal. Yeah.
Absolutely.
You're
just,
human. Yeah.
You know, you just don't want to make sure that doesn't hold you back.
Right. Because someone needs to hear it somewhere, someplace. Like someone needs your voice.
Right.
So, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
Okay, so what's your vision for Tracy overall?
You know, I have a long-term vision for what Tracy should be, and you know, when you're planning your policies and planning what type of businesses you want here in Tracy and what you want your city to be, you know, you just can't look at today, you know, for this day, for example. You have to look beyond that. You have to look 5, 10, 15, 20 years down the road. So what do you want Tracy to be? You know, first of all, I want Tracy to make sure, you know, Tracy has a town, is a population of about 90,000.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I hope Tracy never loses is that unique small town atmosphere in which, you know, people still talk to each other. When there's a time of crisis, you know, people rise up and they come and help each other out.
Right.
Time of celebration, we go out there and celebrate. And we have to keep that because that makes us unique.
Mm-hmm.
I envision, you know, head of household job, higher paying jobs, and that's something we're working on right now. And bringing those jobs that are in the Bay Area and bringing them back to Tracy so people don't have to commute. So when people are youth, when they want jobs, they can stay in Tracy and have a nice job.
Right.
And, you know, I want more activities for our families,
Yeah.
and more recreational, more retail, and to keep Tracy a safe city. And we're very, very fortunate to have one of the safest cities in the region, and that's one of our main crops.
Right, right.
And you put all those together, you have a great town.
Right.
And, you know, we're in the process of doing, you know, a little bit more, but as you look now, we're doing very great, you know, a very good job. We're bringing more jobs here in Tracy. We just made some national news. You know, CNBC and some national news came in and talked to Tracy about some of our jobs.
Nice.
And well, that does put Tracy on the map.
Yeah.
Drive more people here.
Yeah.
Legacy Field, our aquatic center, is getting a lot of attention. And it's nice when you see other cities looking at you and saying,
Yeah.
"God, what are you guys doing? We want to do the same thing."
Right.
So we're very fortunate, and we have, and it's not just all, you know, the city that's getting this stuff accomplished. It's our residents also.
Exactly.
You know, we work as a team. You know, an example is, you know, we had an EMS issue a few months ago.
Mm.
If you remember that, you know, we were arguing with the county, and what we wanted as a city is to let our fire department respond to all medical emergencies.
Right.
And they were preventing that.
Right.
So, you know, we fought for it, but, you know, it wasn't just the city. It's amazing. It was the elected officials, the city as a whole, you know, the unions, like the fire unions, and the residents of Tracy, all came together. All of these entities agreed on the same subject and fought. That was one.
Awesome.
And that is how we won.
Awesome.
You know, and, you know, we made a difference. And from all of us getting together, we're going to save lives.
Right.
So it was awe-inspiring.
Right.
It just goes to say what a great town,
Right.
this or Tracy is.
Right.
So
Yeah, you guys, the unity here it's amazing. Like you can see it. I just, was it a few months ago, a couple of months, the Children's Day event?
yes.
That was so awesome. Even though I know Children's Day is for kids.
Hey, we're all kids.
We're all kids in the heart. So that I had so much fun. There was so many activities. I've never seen such like a positive, like just the energy from everyone. Was it the jumper house or something? I forgot the name, but I know there was like a bunch of jumpers.
Yes, we're everywhere.
In the facility, and then there was the free ice cream, free yogurt. That I was like, this is my day. Okay, I don't care how old I am. It's my day too. So.
Hey, we're all kids at heart, right?
Yeah.
But no, that's just another example of the community to come together.
It was beautiful. Yeah. It was. I mean, that was. Yeah. I would so go again, which we'll give more info on that. So.
No, it's great, and it happens every year.
Yeah.
And if you look at some of the other activities that we do, our downtown parades, we still have our homecoming parades. And a few years ago, what they wanted to do is raise the fees, and I was one of the advocates against it. Raising these fees on nonprofits and schools because that's part of our tradition in the city. Have our homecoming parades.
Right.
We have the Festa, the Portuguese. We've been marching down during the week of Festa for over 95 years, I believe it is.
Right.
And 4th of July, Christmas parades, and it's something that again brings the community together, and it's something that's unique to Tracy.
Right.
Some cities are cutting that out.
Yeah.
We won't. As long as I sit here, we'll keep having these parades.
Right. And it's so true because, I mean, a lot of people, they don't really have that family, connection, maybe within their own household.
Right.
So maybe them just coming out, that brings them closer.
Oh, absolutely. You get to know people.
Right.
Know your neighbors. Know what's out there.
Exactly. That's so awesome. Okay, so what word of encouragement would you like to give to our SWOOCH viewers?
Well, first of all, hey, if you guys ever need anything and you're here in Tracy, I'm easy to get a hold of. Come down to City Hall and talk to me. But get involved. And if you're watching this program now, you're involved. And take that extra step, make your voice heard. If you want to get something done, get out there and get it done.
Right. Just swoosh.
Just swoosh, exactly. You hear something swoosh, and you're out there and getting it done. But I want to thank you very much for giving me this opportunity, and second for what you both do, going out there and impacting. And we're talking about making a difference.
Right.
And then, there you are. You're sitting here right here, next to me, and you're making that difference. The education, educating our youth, but education of the public at large,
Right.
and that's huge. So thank you very much, and thank you.
Thank you so much. How can the youth stay updated with you, stay active, and what you're doing, your vision for the community?
What you can do to get involved, you can come to a council meeting for one, and it's our first and third Tuesday. It starts at 7 p.m.
Okay.
You can, look on the city website.
Right.
Follow me on Facebook, and I'm on Facebook also, so you'll see a lot of the different functions
Right.
that that I'm doing. But give me a call, shoot me an email, and if you have a question, I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And
Right.
if you want to meet with me, whatever it may be,
Right.
I'm here. I'm a public servant.
Yeah.
And you guys are my bosses. I mean, that's who I work for. I mean, I don't work for anybody else but the residents of Tracy, and that's who I answer to. And I take that very, very seriously. Is that the public have to put their trust and confidence in me, and I'm going to make sure that I'm available 100% for their needs.
That's so humbling of you. It's true. You guys, I got his card that day from the children's event, and that number that you gave me, I think it was your cell number. I think it was your cell number or something. But I remember calling that number, and it was like a few weeks later you called back, and I seen Tracy Mayer on there. I was like, whoa, wait a minute. I was like, wait a minute, is he really calling me right now? Like, I really did kind of freak out. So I'm like, I called him, the other day, but I didn't, I'm like, you're the mayor. Like,
Hey,
you're...
I'm a regular person. I'm no different than what you are. I just have a title in front of my name.
Right.
I'm a concerned resident.
Right. That's so awesome. So, thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
It's an honor for me to be here with you, so thank you.
Thank you. And you're one of our swooshioneers.
Yes, I am now.
So, give us, let's just play a little mind teaser right now. So what do you think swooshioneer means?
A member of SWOOCH, right?
Close. Close. Okay, so just real quick, swoosh has swoosh terms, swoosh dictionary, which we call our swooshionary. And in that we just have different terms of how to use the word swoosh with those words. So you're a swooshioneer, swooshioneer, so which is a swoosh pioneer.
Okay. I like it.
See?
That sounds good.
Yeah. So you're setting the trend. You're making the mold, and Tracy, which you have been already, but with you just making that connection with us, you became our swooshioneer.
Well, thank you very much.
So.
And all I can think in my mind now, I'm on next council meeting, and when we move on from item number 1 to item number 2, I'll just go swoosh. We're on item number 2. Just move on.
It's catchy though.
It is. You're like, what is that guy talking about?
We will know what you're talking about.
We are a little inside.
Our
Just for us.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right, swooshers. This is Esther L. signing out with our swooshioneer, Mayor Robert Rickman.
Thank you very much.
Signing out.